'Tis the month of my birth, and I wanted to do something special for this one. Welcome to another game I really love. I'm recording this as Shadow of the Erdtree. Erdtree? Yeah. Is in full swing, but I haven't played Elden Ring yet. But this game got me on a Souls-like trip. Lies of P. Released on September 18, 2023 by NeoWiz, which, by the way, was their very first Souls-like ever. At first, when I saw the trailers, the only trailers that I saw for this game that had me kind of interested were like grim dark. You'd think it's Pinocchio, but dark and edgy. But when you actually get into the game, Mon petit chat, je t'aime. Qu'est-ce que c'est? It's all very classy and chill, and it's actually very emotional. Like, I can't talk about the story without talking about the characters as well. The characters in this game, I love them so much. I love Venigni is basically Batman, but like without all the justice. Venigni is so good. I love him. He's goated. Even if you're not familiar with the story of Pinocchio, you can still appreciate the characters for who they are. But if you do know the story, and bonus points if you've read the book, you get so many more references and little Easter eggs that the developers put in. The Black Rabbit Brotherhood is inspired by the Rabbit Undertakers, who bring Pinocchio a coffin. The Hotel Concierge, Polendina, is inspired by the name of Geppetto in the book. Let me whip out my 102-year-old Pinocchio. Come in, said the carpenter, without having the strength to rise to his feet. A lively old man immediately walked into the shop. His name was Geppetto, but when the boys of the neighborhood wished to make him angry, they called him Pudding. In the original version, it's Polendina. To make him angry, they called him Polendina, because his yellow wig greatly resembled a pudding made of Indian corn. So there's all these like little references with the characters and their names and stuff, and there's some original stuff that is inspired by South Korean culture, because this game was made in South Korea, not Japan. It's not From Software. Also recording this before the DLC comes out, which I'm still waiting on that shop and that DLC. I will immediately upload that shit. Obviously, our main character is Pinocchio, who in this entire game is never referred to as Pinocchio. If you play it, watch out for that. They never refer to him by name. I really can't talk much more about him, because even if you know the basic story of Pinocchio, you know, I'm gonna be a real boy, there is some stuff that is kind of spoilery when talking about this version of Pinocchio, and leave it for you to discover, because if you have seen my Tumblr, there is a character who is connected to Pinocchio in this game who I think deserves his own DLC. We need it. Please, NeoWiz, I'm begging you. Pinocchio isn't a child or wooden puppet. He's a grown adult, because he has to be. He's going around literally killing shit. And he is basically an automaton, as are the other puppets, fueled by this mysterious source known as Ergo. Ergo and the puppet technology made Krat a really rich place. Suddenly, all of the puppets started going into a frenzy and started killing people. Well, we get Sophia to awaken Geppetto's puppet and save us. And that is the basic story that you see in the very opening cutscene. When you look at all the promotional art for this game, I'm gonna get this elephant out of the room right now. It's like they saw Timothée Chalamet and they were like, okay, I want this. Make that thing into a puppet. Like, they knew what they were doing. You can dress up P however you like in this game. He has a bunch of different outfits you can mix and match. My two favorites are definitely one of his stalker outfits, and the workshop uniform. They're great. South Korea gets it! Then we have our little darling Eugenie. She is so adorable. We have Antonia, a friend of Geppetto's, who I'll let you form your own opinions on. Geppetto, of course. And we have Sophia, the blue fairy. Obviously. That is like not a spoiler at all. Like that is pretty obvious that's what she is, the blue fairy. But there is some stuff with Sophia that gets really, really interesting. Basic point is that all of these characters and the environment, it just makes you feel so connected. Krat is such a realistic city. You feel like this has been here for ages. Like, you know this culture. And in Sekiro even, some of the areas, some of the boss fights and like the creatures, they kind of take me out of it. I like spooky stuff, but I hate getting jump scared all the time, which happens a lot in Sekiro. And I didn't really feel that in Lies of P because the environment is just so grounded. Even later on in the game, it's just, I don't know, like the puppets don't scare me as much, which is super plus. Also, the environments don't really bore me because I'm really into this belly puck steampunk mix of ancient, Jesus Christ, this game takes place in 18 something. So, not ancient, but you know what I mean, like old-timey stuff. I love vintage stuff. I loved in architecture class learning about the Crystal Palace and all that, which the Grand Exhibition is clearly like inspired from. The environment is so gorgeous. It is a beautiful game. It's supposed to be set in France. France? It is a South Korean game set in France, based on an Italian story, dubbed into English.
Well, not bad, huh? Oh, I really am good at this.
There are a ton of collectibles you can find around the world to get yourself immersed into it and learn more about the characters. Which brings me to a little bit of what people find negative about this game. To some, the world feels kind of bland, and also P doesn't exactly have a personality because he is a puppet. This is intentional. P kind of doesn't have a personality, but he kind of does. It depends on what you do with the Lie system. The game is called Lies of P. I'll leave it at that. Some of the collectibles, the lore collectibles, also give you a better picture of P and Geppetto as a unit. The character or characters that I don't want to spoil, you have to be observant in the environment and you have to read the collectibles to get the story of them and piece together stuff about them. It is a little bit open-ended as to what the personalities of certain people actually are. That is intentional by the devs. They want you to be able to theory craft and make your own stories. While some of the other stuff that you need for the game completion is a little bit more concrete. I didn't have a frame of reference for the difficulty of the game because I've never played a Souls-like before, but Sekiro is infinitely harder. Ah, you bitch!
Get your ass whooped!
It's difficult. It's a difficult game. Especially, I played it before the nerfs went out. Like the major nerfs. I started the game like a week after release. Minor health adjustments to trash. The other major patch was after I already finished the game. You know, the quick get up instead of having to wait for the animation and like be knocked out for a bit. That shit. Yeah. No, please. No, please! They made getting up quickly with dodge baseline, which I didn't have before, and they also nerfed a lot of the enemies. You f this guy. So, the difficulty I'm talking about is the pretty much release difficulty. There are some bosses that are really, really difficult. To the game's credit, as soon as I played it, even though some of the bosses and some of the mini-bosses frustrated me to all hell. Seriously, fuck this guy. Why? I didn't quit at all. I played for 2 weeks straight. It was such a good game and it kept me engaged the entire time. And just like Sekiro, you're rewarded for parrying a lot. Perfect guarding, you take no damage to your health. You need to manage your stamina. I think Elden Ring does that. And Dark Souls. I've never played either of those. I'm gonna, but you have different equipment. You can equip different fiber linings, different cartridges that give you resistances to certain status effects. You can equip amulets that give you buffs. You can pretty much customize a lot of your stuff to your playstyle's liking. You collect ergo from enemies, which is your levels and your currency. You will lose all of your ergo when you die, but you can go back to where you died and pick it up and get all of that ergo back. If you die again, of course, on your way there, you're gonna lose all that ergo. And you use it at Sophia to level up, and you spend your stats however you want to play. For me, I went for a more tanky build, so I didn't do a lot of damage at first, but I had a lot of health and I had a lot of stam, so I just face tanked a bunch of shit and then healed it back up. If you guard without perfect guarding, you still take a bit of damage, but if you attack immediately after, you can heal that damage back up. But if you don't, like if you get hit again, that heal window disappears. What I appreciate about Lies of P is that, first of all, it's a linear game. You're not gonna get Omega lost. There's only one direction you can go in the story, so you're not gonna get lost. I really like that the trash is comparatively tame in between bosses compared to Sekiro, where I had to clear an entire fucking room of trash. You know who it is. If you've played it, you know who I'm talking about. It is the worst instance of that game. And when you wiped and you had to do it all over again, I wanted to quit right there on the spot.
Ah, you motherfucker!
Don't tread on me, Daddy! Why are you like this? God damn it. Thankfully, in Lies of P, it's nothing like that. It's pretty tame-ish. There are also plenty of shortcuts you can unlock to skip most of the trash and get right back to the bosses. As I played the game, I figured out after I finished the game that I was actually playing a sort of meta build, because my weapon and handle combo turned out to be one of the best ones. Which brings me to this game's main thingy. You can swap out your weapon handles and your weapon blades interchangeably and create your own weapon of your preference. For example, my All Reliable. I love this weapon. I love it so much. I actually had a lot of trouble in Sekiro playing because, first of all, the range on Kurabimaru? The sword in Sekiro, I forgot its name, is so short. The range is so short. But in Lies of P, you can choose whatever weapon you want. There are special weapons from the bosses which you can't disassemble. They're a legendary one piece. It's real! And they all have a different sort of effect that you can use and abuse. I missed! Oh my god. If you go out there, you usually find a weapon that's completely assembled. For example, you're building technique and it's a motivity weapon. You take that motivity weapon to your Jenny and you can use a crank to turn up its technique and lower its motivity or something. Stat juggling is one of the reasons why you would want to assemble your own blade, but the second one is the Fable Arts. This is your extra skill in combat. Kind of like the RTB bar in Final Fantasy. You build them up and then you can use a limit break to unleash a powerful attack. That's basically what this is. You build up your RTB and then you can unleash a flurry of strikes or something. I really liked the range of the bone-cutting saw blade. Why didn't I just keep the sawtooth default handle? Well, Timmy, glad you asked. The handle actually dictates your attack speed and swing speed. So with the default handle, the way P swung the saw was so slow. I really hated the default attack speed that I had with the bone cutting saw. And then I found the curved bramble sword handle, which I really like the fable art on, because it's like a flurry of slashes. I really like that. The default bone cutting saw handle fable art was taking less damage from enemy attacks. I'm already building tanky, so what am I gonna use that for? So I combined that, and lo and behold, I have a weapon with a pretty great attack speed, pretty great range, and this blade and handle combo became all reliable. I've used it for the rest of the game. You can also, and you should, upgrade your weapons, make them stronger and stronger. And yeah, that's pretty much the major feature of this game, being able to customize your weapons like that. Some weapons have special properties, like they do elemental damage, like fire or acid.
I will also add what we brilliant inventors call modularity. That means it will be much easier to improve and repair since you'll be able to use commonly found parts. You might say this arm's new abilities are legion. No? Too much? It was too much.
The other main mechanic of this game is the Legion arm. The Legion arm is interchangeable. You can change it every time you're at a Stargazer, which is this version of a bonfire. The Legion arm is basically your shinobi arm. You have a bunch of different bosses or enemies that are vulnerable to a certain status effect. You need a lot of fire. Well, go for Flamberge. You need acid. Go for Pandemonium. You of course have your health potion, which is a pulse cell or P cell. Once it's empty, every time you attack, you kind of recharge it a bit, and you kind of get a Hail Mary after you charge it enough and get one extra charge of healing potion. You can't do it indefinitely because it slows down recharge after every time you use it, but it makes a very satisfying sound when you do recharge it. There's also the stagger. As you keep attacking enemies, their health bar will turn white. It'll get a little white border, and once you land a really strong blow, like a charged attack or fable art, you will then stagger them, and they'll have a little marker that you can use for fatal attack, which inflicts a shitload of damage. And something neat about this game is that every enemy weapon in this game can be broken, so you'll reduce their range and their damage. Also, your weapon can break during a fight, and once it's broken, you can't repair it until you're out of combat. So during combat, you also need to keep track of your durability down in the corner and use your grindstone to refresh that durability right up. And it's actually kind of badass to use, not gonna lie. I love using the grindstone during a battle. P just pacing around this enemy, grinding that weapon, and you see all the sparks flying, and it's so epic. Holy shit, Neovis. Oh my god, tone it down, please. And you have special grindstones that you can use to put affixes onto your weapon. Like, you'll inflict fire damage for a few seconds. Sometimes when I play this game, it feels like I'm playing Final Fantasy. The animations for all of the weapons and the sound effects are so clean. And the last major mechanic in this game that I want to talk about is the quartz system. Quartzes are rewarded from boss kills and special difficult enemies, just like amulets are. Quartzes go into your P organ, which is basically your heart, and it upgrades P in a variety of ways. I'm not gonna call him P anymore. Pinocchio is so long. For the record, even though I love this game, I hate calling him P. You can pick and choose your talents and just upgrade your playstyle that way. And don't worry about spending all your ergo or your P organ, your quartz, on stuff that you didn't want, like you want to respec. You can do that. You just need to unlock it. If you are having trouble on a certain boss, like you really can't be asked anymore, there is a way for you to kill the boss with some help. Now it's not perfect, but it is there for you to use, and that is the Spectre. You can summon a Spectre for star fragments, which you can farm off difficult mobs, and the Spectre will tank some of the damage for you and help you DPS a boss. You can even use the Spectre to just see more phases of the fights. Like you use the Spectre to blast through phase 1 because you're already so used to phase 1 and you want to see more phase 2. So you just use the Spectre in phase 1, just get it over with so you can practice phase 2, so you can beat it by yourself. And if you want a challenge, you can just not use the Spectre. Easy as that. Some of the areas, when you open the big grand doors, you have to experience it. It blows you away. Which leads me into the music. The music is the absolute MVP of this game. Seriously. You can play records in this game and listen to all the soundtracks in the game itself while you're just chilling at the hotel. If your game makes me buy a collector's edition from South Korea just so I can have a physical edition of one of the records in the game, then you done right. Pretty much all of these tracks are bangers. Like, not bangers in the, BPM kind of way, but in the, oh my god, this makes me feel a bunch of ways way. And I'm not doing it justice talking about it, so I'm just gonna play some footage of my playthrough and some of the soundtrack.
Close your eyes, come to me, feel alright, just dance with me all through the night, turn it out, close to you, I feel good, 'cause I just know feeling of you. Give it to me, baby. So I will find another song, another falsely find. Those rambling words they pressed upon my soul. Every inch I march towards the fatal side. Against the winds, against the lights, I shall conquer that. 'Cause when you stop to dream, your whole heart gives into life.
You'll spend those $10 on the Steam store and get the entire soundtrack, which Also, I've made an animated like little thingy of, because that artwork, mysteriously, Neovis, hello, is not even like wallpaper dimensions. Come on. Get it together. Get us that wallpaper, please. I really appreciate it when I can tell that a game was made for one reason and one reason only.
I like money.
Or as a passion project. And this is definitely that. There are so many little references and Easter eggs and stuff that just, like, once you see them, it blows your mind how much detail went into this game. You can tell that people enjoyed working on this, that they liked working on this and wanted to put something good out there. I legitimately ugly cried at the end. That was such a good game. God damn it.
좋은 게임을 만들려고 노력한다면 그 마음은 어떻게든 전달이 된다고 믿고 있습니다. 더욱 재미있는 게임을 꾸준히 만들도록 계속 노력하겠습니다. 다시 한번 진심으로 감사드립니다.
For me to enjoy a single player game, even Final Fantasy doesn't hit all the marks that made this such a great game for me. This game had it all. It hit every single mark that made it a game that I enjoy playing over and over and over. Like the atmosphere, the characters, the playstyle, everything was just the right amalgamation of right for me, personally. To me, it genuinely could have won Game of the Year if it didn't come out the same year as fucking Baldur's Gate 3. And if it wasn't a Souls-like, because I'm aware that Souls-likes are an acquired taste. It's not for everybody, because it can be really, really frustrating to spend like 6 hours on a boss.
We live through those, we'll kill it.
If you stop DPSing, you're a beta. Don't listen to her.
If you wipe in Lies of P or any Souls-like, you only have yourself to blame. You suck. Why was this puppet needed? Why?
Frankly, that's a skill issue.
The game itself is $60. It is constantly on sale. Every time I check my Twitter, there's always like a summer sale, spring sale, winter sale, blah blah blah, you know, Steam sale. Lies of P will be on sale. So check it out if you haven't. I want to know, as a collective human unit, as a hive mind, I want to know what was in the water in 2022, 2023 that we decided as a species, this is the year of the Pinocchio remakes. But yeah, I really love this game. If you haven't played it yet, just try it. And even if you don't like the difficulty of Souls-likes, I'm sure there is an easy mode mod out there that you can download and you can just play the game on easy mode, just for the story, for the music and the atmosphere, the setting, the characters. A lot of people, even though I haven't played it, say this is as close to Bloodborne 2 as we're gonna get. So I don't know. In the future, I'll try Bloodborne and see if that's true. But for now, this has become one of my favorite games ever. I enjoy playing this game when I have the time to play anything other than WoW and League. Once again, thanks for watching me spill my brain and listening to me talk. And I hope you enjoyed it. Grazie per la visione e arrivederci. Wait, it's supposed to be said in France. Oh my god, it trips me up every time. Merci d'avoir regardé et au revoir.